Hello, good evening from the Drumhead Studios. We've got myself over here in my little room, and we've got Rich over that side in his little room on this lovely Tuesday evening. It's our probably second official stream. Firstly, I want to say thanks very much last week for everyone who watched. We've had loads of questions and loads of fantastic comments throughout the week. So we've got a few things to pick up on there. And just to remind everyone that hasn't clicked on the YouTube and subscribed, please go and do so, because the more people are watching it, the more people will get hopefully something good out of what we're doing. So today, what we're going to do? Well, today we're going to look at the paradiddle, and Rich is going to talk you through the basics of it, how to get into it, how to play it, how to make it flow, looking at some basic fills, then into grooves, and then we'll talk about how we will apply it practically around the kit. So without further ado, I will pass you over to Rich. Off you pop.
Hi guys, welcome back to another live stream. Basically, we're going to talk, as Mike said, about the paradiddle. And it's all about getting that sticking pattern down so that then we can be a little bit more creative with it once we've got that down. Okay, so it may seem a little bit basic to some people, the way that the paradiddle fits together, but we've got to cover the basic of it, and then we can move on to the more advanced stuff for the people that are watching. Okay, so the paradiddle itself, two singles and a double. Right, left, right, right. Left, right, left, left. Now, I'm aware that most of you will probably know this, but stick with it. Right, left, right, right, left, right, left, left. Okay? So that's the basic of the sticking pattern of the paradiddle. The idea would be now to really get that to flow. So if you were to work that up with a click, then you can gradually start to increase that tempo, and then it will really start to fall into place. Okay, so obviously that's going to take some time. As we've said a million times before, myself and Mike have been playing a long, long time. So it's just a matter of time, building it up slowly, and then gradually getting to that point where you've got full control and full mastery over the sticking pattern.
Absolutely.
Yeah. The next step will be to then just think about then trying to do something with that. So if we take that back into what will be 8 notes, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and then we simply take that and just pop that on the snare. That's a paradiddle fill in its really basic form. Okay, so if I put that with an 8-note groove, let's see what that sounds like.
That sounds remarkably like a fill that I might use in Embrace.
I think that's way too complex for you, right? Yeah, but it's a simple fill, isn't it? And it has that little bit of a twist to it where it feels and sounds ever so slightly different.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, so it's not quite that straight 8 notes hand to hand, but it's not too complicated that we can't get it because it's still at a slow tempo.
Yeah, absolutely.
So if we then simply just take the right hand and move the right hand around the toms, then it can become something else that starts to sound a little bit more musical. So all I'm putting the same sticking pattern, right, left, right, right, onto your second tom, left, right, left, left, across the snare, down to the floor tom.
Mhm.
So again now, with the groove, now it starts to sound like a different thing, even though it's exactly the same pattern. It's all about, with these sticking patterns, like we talked about with the doubles, going a little bit deeper inside of them to see what you can actually do with them.
Do you think that, I mean, with the paradiddle, because one thing to sort of point out, I guess, is it moves from side to side, doesn't it?
Yes.
You know, because if you're talking about singles, right, left, generally, if you're playing 16s, you're going to have the, you know, the quarter note on your right hand side, but it moves from right to left, doesn't it? So I think with the paradiddle, it's good because it enables you to move around the kit in a different way, which I guess is what a lot of stickings are for, aren't they? To be able to move around the kit.
Absolutely, 100%, 100%. It's a different. It gives us maybe a different ending on the fill.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which, well, I'll come to that. I'll come to that in a minute and explain that. Because we had a question earlier on about that.
Okay.
But yeah, you're right in terms of which sides. So again, on the fill there with it moved, if we take the right side of the paradiddle, right, left, right, right, and just play that on the snare, and then play the left side for left, right, left, left, and put the left and the right on the toms, again, that starts to sound like a really nice fill.
Yeah.
We've not done anything different.
Yeah. But that's starting to sound more interesting, more musical, isn't it?
Musical. Yeah, definitely. Musical. Definitely. Yeah, definitely. And again, if I put that into a groove, again, you'll hear what it sounds like.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it comes into its own a lot more that when you're pushing the tempo a bit, doesn't it? But
yeah.
You've got to start. I mean, one thing I was going to point out earlier when you were showing what the paradiddle was, obviously the speed you went up to straight away. You're looking at years to get up to that. You are looking at years, and that's one thing that I think is key to point out to people who are just starting out, just not to get too exasperated by the fact that it takes a long time to get these things up to speed. I've said it a million times that I completely stopped doing doubles because I got hacked off of the fact that I couldn't get them to any speed until years later. So you've got to be patient, haven't you? But patience, it'll pay off in the long run as long as you can stick with it.
100%, 100%. Just while we're on the topic of this left-right fill, though, for any more, I'm aware that could be a little bit beginnerish for some people. So one way to push that, as we always do, and really push that to a kind of huge extreme, is to think about changing the subdivision of the notes. So again, any beginner players out there, you can look at this and work towards it, but it's something to get to once you've put the groundwork in to get to where you need to be with it. Yeah. So if we play the left-right part once, we're in 8th notes. If we play it twice, we're in 16th notes. This is within a bar. If we play it 4 times, we're in 32nd notes. And if we play it 8 times, we're in 64th notes.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I'm completely aware that you're never, ever going to play this in 64th notes. Yeah? But as a hand exercise for potentially a more advanced player, it's something that maybe you can work on. Yeah? So if I put my click on, and I play that once, now twice, so already that's starting now to feel like, because I put it into 16th notes, it's starting to feel like a more complex fill.
I think it's key there to point out that when you're saying you play it once and twice, you're talking about playing it twice in the same length of time.
In the same bar, yeah, the left-right thing. If the left-right thing happens once in a bar, it's 8th notes. If it happens twice in a bar, it's 16th notes. 4 times 32nd notes, 8 times 64th notes. And again, I'm completely aware that this is pushing the boundaries altogether, but for any advanced players, it's a nice little hand exercise to try and work on. So if I go quickly through it and play the whole thing, you can see what it sounds like. So the 64th note one is kind of completely pointless because you're not going to play it.
But you might play a fraction of it. I mean, that's
fraction of it. Yeah, that's it.
There's a little bit of spice at the end of a fill. You know what I mean? You might just throw something in, I think. Yeah.
But again, you know, it's an extreme thing. There, if you can do that, it makes the 16th note but mean that it's going to be really precise and really clean. Really, really clean. Yeah. So again, that's just something to work on to get that paradiddle sticking. But obviously, to start with, we've really got to get this so it's got a huge flow to it. Yeah, real flow to that. Then we can start to move it and start to orchestrate it around the drums a little bit to give you then that creativity within the paradiddle to feel free to do it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. It's getting the basic foundation of it down first to then be able to push on with it. A lot of time, you'll probably see in your teaching as well, Mike, I see that somebody get the very basic of something and then try and jump to step 200.
But yeah, every time, yeah.
You know, and ignore that bit in the middle, which is actually the really important bit of getting it really, really controlled and really nice.
Yeah, and you just end up with just something that just sounds really horrible, and there's, you know, it's a blurred mess, isn't it? Basically, you need that focus, you know, that accuracy.
Yeah.
But again, as you say, you know, if you build the speed up to the 64th, you know, division you were looking at there, again, you know, then hopefully you're well in within that area when you do most of your playing. Yeah,
100%. It's that same thing we've talked about loads of times, isn't it? Having a Ferrari driving at 30 mile an hour, it's easy. Yeah, that's all it is. That's all it is. Yeah, and obviously then we've got to get some controlling to this now, because you know there's a huge difference between this and this. Getting them ghost notes down. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with playing the paradiddle all up. Again, like we've talked about before in lots of things, if that's what you want to do, not just because it's the only way you can play them. Yeah, so we get that control in there, so we've got options. It gives you choices then to make based on the music that you're playing, because, you know, as again, I've said this lots already tonight, as we've said it a million times before, all of this is all to do with the music, not to do with playing drums, to do sort of chops athletics.
Well, that's it, and that's why I said when you go back to that original one, the really slow one, you know, the big stadium, da 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 da. You know, chances are there's more chance of me using a fill like that than any of the other subdivisions in there. Maybe the 16th one, but generally it's going to be nice and slow and solid. You know, and with a lot of music, it will be. Obviously, there are loads of genres out there, prog stuff and stuff, where you can throw everything in there. But a lot of it is going to be the really solid stuff. And also, the other thing is sometimes it's a lot harder to play the stuff that is more that is slower, basically.
It is. A lot of people don't realise that, Mike. But it's harder to play slow because the space in between the notes is more, so you've got to be more precise about hitting the middle.
Absolutely. Yeah.
If that's count 1 and that's count 2, trying to hit the middle of that is quite tricky. But at a faster tempo, if that's count 1 and that's count 2, you're almost bound to hit the middle because there's not much space in there.
Yeah, completely.
So it's technically easier once you've got the control to play faster.
Yeah.
So I would always say to people, try and work this to a really slow tempo with anything as well. Go the full range from really slow to really fast. You've got full control over it.
Yeah, absolutely. It's also nice with that paradiddle of the little fill. It's also nice, the little left-right thing where you use bringing the bass drums into it as well.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you were going to mention that thing that way where you kind of got that. I mean, so you kind of bring another element, bringing your feet into it, basically, which is another thing we try to say all the time, don't we? Remember, you haven't just got these things; you've got these things that you walk around on as well to bring into everything.
That's it. That's it. And again, there you said earlier on about the end of the song thing. That's a great one at the end of a song.
I know that's the big crescendo thing, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. So there's a couple of ideas I think to work on fill wise, guys. So moving the right hand, left hand stays on the snare. Right, left, left, left. And then the left right part that moves. So right on the snare. Left, right, left. So the left right being your first tom down to your fourth tom. You can build that up and develop that, and then you can start to push the tempo up a little bit. It sounds really nice in 16th notes actually. If you really step out the left right.
Yeah.
So we're going to talk about the control of it in a moment. Yeah. But these two fills again very, very different. So very, very different fills there. When you take all the small notes down, bring the big notes out, it starts to then become really, really musical, as opposed to just, some notes.
Absolutely, yeah, and that's what creates the interest, isn't it? There's people like Buddy Rich doing his solos, Paradiddle solos. It's all about where you place the accents within them. And you can place, that's a whole other lesson, but you can place accents in any place in them and create something different. But yeah, there's a massive difference between those two.
Yeah, 100%. So talking about the control then, we can also put this into a groove. Okay, so if we play the paradiddle between the right hand on the hi-hat, left hand on the snare, we're going to get this. Which doesn't particularly sound very musical at all. But it's a bar of 16th notes, 1 E-ander, 2 E-ander, 3 E-ander, 4 E-ander, in that paradiddle sticking pattern. So if we can then put a bass drum on the 1 and the 3, which lines up with the start of the right-handed paradiddle, 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 with that right hand, then we'll start to hear more of the groove. Yeah. Nice. Now the only thing now that's missing out of that groove to make it what I will call a fully fledged feeling nice groove is the backbeat, is the 2 and the 4.
Yeah.
So the 2 and the 4 are the start of the left-handed paradiddle. Paradiddle, this one, left, right, left, left, right, left, right, right, left, right, left, left. If we can pull those out now by making all the other notes quieter and pull out the 2 and 4, then that's going to start to sound more like a groove as you would know it to be. Add the bass drum back on 1 and 3, we've got the groove.
And might you be possibly using a little bit of the molar technique there to get the accent coming down your left hand?
Quite possibly, yes, quite possibly this motion here.
Yeah. So you try to get the power and really, because you want the backbeat to pop out, don't you? When you're actually hearing that groove, you kind of want people to be hearing basically the dum cat with a bit of percussion behind it. Yeah, and getting that's the difficult thing. It's the thing that I know a lot of young students find difficult, getting the difference between the accents and the small notes, the grace notes, ghost notes, whatever you want to call them.
Yeah.
That is a difference because you're coming down with all that power, and you want to be able to stay down there because you can't come down from there and try and do a little grace note. You've got to come down and literally keep it down towards the head to be able to get that next smaller note.
That's it. It is a difficult thing to get. Yeah. But what I would say is, if you can make the ghost notes, what we'll call them, just a smaller note, small, the accent doesn't need to be as big.
Absolutely, yeah.
If your small notes are this big, then your accents need to be this big.
Yeah.
Then you're going to slow yourself down because now your stick's got to be here, and that takes a long time to get back to here.
Yeah.
So the more control you can get in your playing, the better it is. The better it is. Yeah. You can work that. You can work it as an exercise just on the snare drum, keeping everything low, bringing out the 2 and 4. Yeah. Again, it can be an exercise. It could be a pan exercise.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
It could be absolutely anything. So you can work on that without your drums, really. If you've got a pad or something, you can work on pulling out that left side. Yeah. So when you do get back to your drums, if in this current situation we're in at the minute, if you don't have any drums, you can almost preempt that and get ready to be able to play it by working it on a single surface.
Do it with your hands, can't you?
Yeah.
You can do it wherever you are. You don't need anything. You can just use these things.
Yeah.
I mean, as a sort of little practical note to that. So that groove is a great little paradiddle groove to start with. But what I would say to a lot of people is you probably won't end up playing a paradiddle groove in a song all the way through because it very rarely happens. So what I tend to do is maybe just like throw a bit of it in there. So you might have an 8th note groove, 1 and 2, and then maybe go to paradiddle. So you get something like that. Or even just less than that at the end, you can just kind of throw it in anywhere. It's still a little bit of spice, basically, because all these things are great. And as we say, that to learn them and to get them down, I mean, there are pieces of music that have paradiddle grooves all the way through. I know that, but a lot of the sort of pop stuff is more straightforward, and you're just using bits of it around the kit. But you've got to go for the whole learning process to be able to do that. Because if you don't learn it properly, and then you start to play those grooves and think, "Oh, I'll just throw a bit in there," it just ends up as a mess. You know what I mean? You've got to get that accuracy. As you were saying, you saw the 2 and the 4.
Yeah. That's it. But it does work. It does work quite well in a track. If you've got a track that you can use with it, it works really well to put pieces of it in and do that kind of thing. Yeah. So it's a little variation from just a standard 8th note groove. Yeah.
I mean, you could, that idea that I had there, if we look at, and I know we're going to talk about this at length on another session, but we've got a little app, Time to Play, the Drumhead app, which is a play along app, where you've got backing tracks to play with and you can pull bits and pieces out. It's not fully ready yet, but just as an idea, say if I pull one of the tracks up now and you can hear that, then what I can do is when you get these things, you can pull the drums out and then play along with it. So if I had that track and then put a bit of that paradiddle groove over it, then this side works. So you'll hear me play the track and then I'll pull down the drums and leave. Basically, there's 3 different types of click, a 1/4, and a 16 click, and then I play along with it. So look, if it's going to play. Sorry, turn my mic back on. That's an example of playing, put it in a musical context where you can hear it. And there I was doing it all the way through and then having it as part of the bar. But that's the great thing about this app. We've got loads of great tracks that we've written, recorded with friends in the studio. And basically, as I say, we'll go into more detail at a later date, but you can basically pull down various parts of it. So you've got and speed it up and slow it down if you want a different practice. Anyway, that's for another thing. Anyway, that's an idea. But just getting used to playing along to tracks, I think it is great, because learning all these little tricks and stuff is brilliant, and sitting in a room practicing is really important. But as we all know, you know, the real fun is when you're playing it with music and other people, backing tracks or whatever you've got, and getting used to how it works in that. Because with that backing track there, when I started playing the Paradiddle groove all the way through, it's just obviously far too much. It just doesn't work. Yeah. It's too complicated. And these are the choices that, you know, that in the real world we've got to look at as to how we implement what we learn from these lessons, if that makes any sense at all. Over to you.
Absolutely. It's now like getting used to playing it all, so then you can take bits of it. Yeah, then you can take bits of it back.
Yeah, absolutely.
Certain pieces of it. So if you work on it all, then you can play half of it.
Yeah.
That's the key to it. And then it's a case of doing the kind of next step with it, which we to mess with the bass drum patterns. So if we are in an 8th note groove, the main thing that moves is the bass drum. So we do exactly the same thing then underneath the paradiddle groove.
Yeah.
And we start to mess with where the bass drum patterns go.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we just really, most of that lines up with the right hand.
Mm-hmm.
And we just find a place for that to go.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And then it all kind of falls into place. And like we said, we mix and match it with the fills, and we do that. We can then just simply move the hands. So we can play exactly the same groove there between the ride and the hi-hat, bringing the left hand back for the 2 and 4.
Mm-hmm. Another thing you could do, thinking about it, how about, which has just struck me, because you're playing a paradiddle there, and again, we're talking about the hands, aren't we?
Yeah.
So what about, you can also play a paradiddle. So for me, a paradiddle can be played between anything. You know, it can be played between the feet and the hands. So if you looked at it between, say, the bass drum and the snare drum, like that. One E and 2E, and then start pulling out the 2 and the 4. And then maybe just bring a straight 8th note onto the hats behind it. Then you can have a completely different type of feel where you've got the paradiddle between the kick and the snare, like this. Just as a thought, and that's another completely different way of using it as a groove.
Yep, and introducing that sound there. Can we have more cowbell, please?
Yeah, always have more cow. I've just put the cowbell on today, and I'm particularly pleased with it, which is why I went over to use it then. Probably deaf for everyone, but
yeah. So that's the basis of the paradiddle thing. There's lots of other things you can do whilst you're playing the again a little bit more advanced. Once you're playing the ride and hi-hat pattern, if we put the hi-hat opening on all 4, we'll get a lovely little open hi-hat sound in the middle of it. But again, it's not really taking away from the groove, because the groove we've got is here.
yeah.
The rest of it is all incidental to it, holding it all together and making it a little bit more spicy. That then, that open hi-hat then almost becomes a percussion player.
Yeah, absolutely, completely.
Yeah, it's that little kind of percussion thing that's going on in the background. Yeah, which then your band leaders and things like that are going to love, because you can do it and they don't have to hire a percussionist. So you can take twice the money.
Yeah, absolutely.
Which has never happened ever.
Well, exactly, yeah. And you might actually get away with using a paradiddle if you play the paradiddle groove so it sounds in a band situation like you just playing the dum cat, dum cat, and it's got all the cat, boom boom cat. If you can get that down, chances are the rest of the band won't turn around and go, "Why are you playing so much?"
Yeah, that's it. It's that, it comes back to that control, doesn't it? Yeah. If you've got full control over it, you can almost make it fit inside of your groove.
Yeah.
But the groove's still there, as opposed to it being taking over the word, taking over the song. It just helps. Yeah.
So you're trying to work, like you were saying, practice on your pad and trying to really, I guess, get the quiet notes as quiet as possible and the loud notes as loud as possible. So you got that. Because if you can do that, then obviously you can do everything in between, hopefully. So yeah, it's control. Yeah.
And there's a perfect practice tip. Mike's got a practice pad there and he's stamping on the floor.
Yeah.
It's the same thing. It's getting the idea in here to then translate out. Once the idea's in there, it will translate to the drums. It doesn't really matter how you do it.
Yeah, absolutely. And when I'm practicing on my practice pad, I mean, I use feet all the time. They are my metronome. If I'm not using a metronome, which I should be doing, and you should be doing, but if you're not, you know, that becomes my metronome. Or both together. I mean, you know, really, if you can introduce into your practice all 4 limbs, then why not? One E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E. It's a great exercise as well.
100%. 100%. I mean, again, there, I know we're kind of getting to the end of what we needed to talk about. We'll get to a couple of questions in a minute. But again, there, we've talked about, from a very basic point of view, building up a groove. It's not a basic thing to get that control of it to make it sound nice, but it appears to be quite basic. But for anybody who really does want a challenge, let's put the paradiddle stick in over the top of a samba. There's a nice little challenge for you.
That's a challenge. You go and practice that, guys. Yeah.
That's a real challenge. Okay.
Yeah.
So I think we've got a couple of questions.
Actually, one of the ones just quickly is a couple of people mentioning when the app will be ready. Yeah, we're pushing that as quickly as we can, guys. It's kind of there, but we need a lot of loops, which I'm madly every day writing and recording. So we've got a really good selection for you guys to have things to play along with. Basically, writing loops. I'll write something, I'll record it, I'll play along to it. If it feels great to play along to as a drummer, I'll continue and finish it and do it. And if it doesn't, then it goes to one side. But it's taking a lot of time. But we will be, hopefully within the next month, fingers crossed, be launching that. So that's that question. Over to you, Rich.
Okay. A couple of other points I can just see there from like a little bit of a lag and a little bit of an echo thing going on. Again, guys, that's out of our control. They're just potentially just everybody is on the internet at the same time, taking up the bandwidth, and it's just sort of chunk it down. So again, apologies if it's affected it at all, but we can't really do anything about that. It's just the internet in general that's just, doing that. Okay. So there's one question I want to get to.
Yeah.
And that's from Paul, which is about paradiddles in triplets.
Oh.
The sticking patterns are the same. So a bar of triplets is 12 note. A paradiddle is 4 note, meaning we can play 3 paradiddles. That is actually quite tricky. Okay, so it's triplets, 1 triplet, 2 triplet, 3 triplet, 4 triplet, and then in the paradiddle sticking pattern, 1 triplet, 2 triplet, 3 triplet, 4 triplet. 1 triplet, 2 triplet, 3 triplet, 4 triplet. Okay, so that's going to take you some time to get behind, but you can absolutely do it in that sticking pattern. Just remember that it's still in triplets, as I've seen a lot of people over the past. I've seen a lot of people work on triplets and just play 16th note triplets in 3/4 time.
Yeah,
thinking that they're playing triplets and they're not. They're just playing 3 lots of 16th notes and they've just completely changed the time signature. Yeah, so you've got to stay in that triplet pattern. The accents feel like they've moved around a little bit. Yeah, but that's how we can. That's how you can get it into triplets. So I would say just work that on the pad for now, and then maybe put that into a blues context or a shuffle context.
Yeah, you can get some great fills with that as well.
Yeah, absolutely, 100%. Yeah. Now we got another question this afternoon, actually.
Yeah.
Regarding using a double right, like the end of a paradiddle, as opposed to just playing in single. Yeah. And one of the main reasons is a turnaround to get you onto the opposite hand. So if I want to play a simple 8th note fill and get to this crash, now I'm miles away. Imagine if you had a second floor tom, you're an absolute mile away from the crash that you want to use. So if we put a paradiddle on the end of it, right, left, that stays as singles. Here's your paradiddle. Right, left, right. That leaves me free here with my left hand. My left hand's never going across this side of the kit. Okay, so hopefully that answers the question. If you put the paradiddle in, it will swap hands. It will make it change hands. Yeah? So when you get down to this side of the kit, we can put the double right on the floor. I'm leaving this left-hand free to hit a crash over this side without us having to do this.
And crashing with your left hand, that's a whole other topic that we'll work on as well.
Yeah, and then getting this back to here and getting this one back to here and then doing all that, yeah? So it does make it a little bit easier. Plus, it helps with that flow to get to that crash, so you can probably produce your speed a little bit more.
And one other, I think, quite important comment there is from Mr. Stephen Beaver, who says we need more cowbell. There you go. That's more cowbell. Sorry, I'm liking the cowbell today.
That's it. That's it. I think there's another question there from Den. Quick question: Ginger Baker or John Densmore? Who's better? Now, it's always difficult when people ask who's better, because it's not necessarily, it's not like a sport. It's not like, Usain Bolt's the best because he wins all the time. Everybody's very, very different. Yeah. Now, Ginger was a great player, an incredibly strange person. Yeah. But you could probably say that Ginger probably changed quite a lot of the way that we play. Yeah, I mean, Paul's just gone back on there and put Densmore's better. There you go. So you can take this onto the Facebook page, guys, or into the comments of the video and just have a debate. Yeah, we've all got our thoughts on who's a better this to influence us. It's more about an influence as a drummer. When you're growing up, you have a drummer and you have these people that you look up to, and they automatically then start to come into your playing because you listen to them more.
And also, it's not about who's better anyway. I mean, the whole thing of being better is a bit bonkers, really, isn't it? Because it's so subjective, like you say. Who's that? Oh, Jack Endy.
Yeah.
A quick question. I can't read it.
He's been working on some flam exercises that I gave him in his private lesson. Can I give him some more flam exercises? The answer at the minute, Jack, is no, because we're talking about paradiddles. But
yeah, how about a flamadiddle?
Put a flam at the beginning of your paradiddle.
Yeah.
There you go, Jack. Put a flam at the beginning of your paradiddle. That's not as easy as it looks, but it sounds great. You can move the action then.
Yeah.
There's one for you to work on, Jack.
So anything else on there at the moment?
No, they're having a debate about who's a better drummer now.
Yeah, no, yeah, okay, yeah. See, you could get into this, but I mean, Ginger Baker he's got a style that is you can hear him anything he plays. I think he was an amazing drummer, just absolutely. I wasn't crazy. So yeah, yeah. If anyone hasn't seen the film about him that came out a few years ago.
No.
What is it called? Fabulous Mr. Baker or something?
So, yeah.
You've got to watch that. Brilliant, genius. Not so much for the drumming, just for him being absolutely bonkers.
So, guys, hopefully we've got the point to talk about the paradiddle and what you can do with it. Obviously, that's a real skim of the surface. We can go massively deep on this. Absolutely massively deep. If you want us to go deep on it, we can go deeper. We can put the whole paradiddle family in there. But again, keep in touch with us. Let us know what you want to see, and we'll produce it for you. Yeah. The other things I guess we've got to talk about, as it's scrolling across the bottom of the screen, and you've probably all seen it by now. Next week's live stream is going to be myself with Mike and a very special guest. We're going to have Ian Matthews from Kasabian on with us.
So he's going to come on and chat about all things drumming and hopefully have a few tips, maybe a bit of pad stuff to look at as well. So get your questions in early and yeah, be there. Don't miss it. The guy he came in to do a session for Drumhead a while ago, which is we're gonna use a lot of the stuff on the lessons, and there are a few bits and pieces to give away, but he's just insanely good as a drummer. So yeah, don't miss it.
Yeah, doing what I do, teaching people of all abilities and all levels. It takes a lot to be impressed by a drummer, really. And I sat in a room with Ian, listening to him explain his concepts and his ideas and his playing, and I was completely floored by the guy's playing. He's an absolute monster of a drummer. You would not necessarily hear it on a Kasabian track.
Because he plays what you need for the track.
Exactly. He is an absolutely monster drummer. So if you can, guys, please check that out next week, Tuesday, 7 o'clock. There'll be myself, Mike, and we'll have Ian on with us as well.
Brilliant. And then the week after that, we've got Pete Cater, jazz legend. And the week after that, we've got Mr. Russ Gilbrook from Uriah Heep. Again, probably the most powerful and shouty drummer in the world, really.
I would make sure your volumes are a little bit lower for that one.
Yeah, so it's going to be a lot of fun. So turn up, ask some questions, get involved, click the click the bell, and subscribe to our YouTube channel, and yeah, keep an eye on us on Facebook. We'll try and get everything out there, Instagram as well, and hopefully we can enjoy this. Enjoy is the wrong word, but we can be part of this lockdown together and get through it together in one piece and hopefully learn.
Absolutely. Thanks for watching, guys, and we will see you next week.
See you later.